I'm Victoria.
Standing in the lobby of my now thriving Valley Hotels and Resorts flagship, I can't help but reflect on how far I've come. The place is bustling with activity. The garden outside is hosting a beautiful wedding, and the restaurant is filled with happy guests. It's a far cry from the dilapidated state it was in when I first inherited it. My family was well known in the real estate world. My father, Henry, was a shrewd and ambitious man. He built a multi-million-dollar real estate company, Sterling Properties, from the ground up. My mother, Eleanor, was more reserved, but she supported my father's business endeavors wholeheartedly. They had high hopes for my two older brothers, Alexander and Benjamin. My brothers attended the most prestigious business schools, and they were groomed to take over the family business. I, on the other hand, had different dreams. I was passionate about hospitality. While my brothers were making deals in boardrooms, I was working my way up from a housekeeping staff at various hotels, learning every aspect of the hotel business. When my father passed away and the will was read, my brothers got the lion's share of Sterling Properties, while I was left with the once glorious, but now run down Ocean View Inn. Alexander sneered at me, adjusting his expensive watch. "Have fun with that dump, Victoria. You'll never make anything of it." Benjamin joined in. "Dad must have lost his mind giving you this worthless place while we get the real business." 2 weeks later, I stood in front of the Ocean View Inn, key in hand. The paint was peeling, the windows were cracked, and the neon sign was half burned out. An old man in his 60s, named Walter, approached me. He was the manager, or what was left of the management. He showed me around. The hotel had good bones, but years of neglect had taken a toll. There were only 8 employees left, most rooms needed repairs, and the kitchen equipment was ancient. The occupancy rate was low, mostly long-term residents who couldn't afford anywhere else. Asked to see the financial records. The numbers were grim: massive debt, declining revenue, and mounting maintenance costs. But I wasn't deterred. I'd spent the last 10 years in the hotel industry, and I knew what it took to make a hotel successful. I asked Walter how long he'd worked there. He said 32 years, starting as a bellhop when my grandfather ran the place. He told me about the good old days when the hotel was the heart of the community. There were weekly community dinners, local artists displayed their work in the lobby and garden, and guests felt like family. I gathered all the staff in the conference room. They all looked defeated, expecting to be fired. I told them about my vision for the new Ocean View Inn. It would be a boutique hotel that celebrated local culture, supported the community, and made every guest feel at home. I showed them my plans on the laptop: rooms themed around local history, a farm-to-table restaurant, and a restored garden as an event space. One of the housekeepers, Lily, who had worked there for 20 years, was skeptical. "How can you be sure? The hotel is drowning in debt." I smiled and pulled out my resignation letter from my previous job as an operations manager at a top hotel in New York, along with my bank statement showing my entire savings of $175,000. "I'm all in. This is my future," I said. Walter was the first to stand up and say he was in. One by one, the others followed. Over the next few weeks, we worked around the clock. I sold my apartment and moved into one of the hotel rooms. The staff worked overtime without complaint, and local contractors offered discounted services. The town's small business association helped spread the word. 2 months in, we started to see the first signs of change. A guest left a 5-star review, saying the place had heart. More positive reviews followed. Then my former boss, Amelia, called with an opportunity. The Coastal Historical Society was looking for a venue for their annual gala. Their usual hotel had doubled the rates, and she thought the Ocean View Inn would be perfect. I was hesitant at first, but I decided to take the chance. The next 6 weeks were intense. Every employee worked double shifts. Local artisans helped restore the ballroom, and the garden slowly regained its former glory. The night before the gala, Benjamin sent me a message, telling me not to embarrass the family. I ignored him. The gala was a huge success. The society's president was impressed and asked if we could host their winter retreat. After the event, the staff gathered in the garden to celebrate. Walter raised a glass and said, to Victoria, who saw the potential when everyone else saw failure. A year later, the Ocean View Inn was thriving. The occupancy rate was at 85%, the restaurant was always full, and the event space was booked months in advance. At the same time, Sterling Properties was facing an investigation for unethical business practices. Alexander called me, asking for a loan of $20 million to avoid bankruptcy. I had a counter-proposal. I wanted to buy their most profitable property, the Riverfront Hotel. I showed them a letter from a major hotel investment firm, Evergreen Capital, which was impressed with what I'd done at the Ocean View Inn and wanted to back me in expanding my hotel chain. Alexander was shocked and refused at first, but 3 days later, they accepted my offer. The Riverfront Hotel became the second property in my growing chain. Within 2 years, Valley Hotels and Resorts expanded to 12 locations. The press called us the anti-chain chain, and our occupancy rates led the industry. Sterling Properties survived, but my brothers were forced out. One day, I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal about how I'd built a hospitality empire from a bankrupt inn. I framed it and sent copies to my brothers. That evening, as I walked through the Ocean View Inn, Walter said, "Your father would be proud." I thought about my father, who had built an empire but forgotten the essence of hospitality. "No," I said, "grandfather would be proud. He knew what made a hotel special." My phone buzzed with an analyst report showing our latest valuation of $500 million, but I deleted it without reading. The real value was in the guests who kept coming back, the staff who were like family, and the communities that had embraced us. As I looked up at the hotel, I smiled. The joke had been on my brothers all along. My inheritance was an opportunity to prove that success is about more than just money and prestige. It's about creating a place where people feel truly welcome.